Hi, welcome to our show today. Folks, we got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking about safety, growth, liquidity. Pick any two. Pension buyouts. What does that look like? Do I take the lump sum or do I take the guaranteed payout? And then the dangers of day trading. So stay tuned.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Do you ever remember seeing that sign in the store, said price, quality, service, pick any two? Listen, when you're ready to make a purchase, if you pay a very low price, aren't you probably giving up quality or service in one way, shape, form, or another? Think about it. Well, in the investment world, we have the same thing. It's called safety, growth, liquidity. Now, there are a lot of financial instruments out there. I challenge you to put this to the test, but if you look at most financial instruments, you're going to predominantly get two of the three in one way, shape, or another. So let's just run some examples. Let's say you have a savings account. It's at the bank. Maybe it's FDIC insured. All right. What do I have? I have a financial instrument that's safe, right? It's with the bank, FDIC insured, right? It's fully liquid because I can take it out anytime. But what am I giving up? Growth. I'm not going to get a whole lot for it right now in this day and age, right? Take a typical brokerage account with stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Right? Now, these are financial instruments that can go way up in value, all right, if they do well, but they can also go down in value, okay, depending on what the security is. So I have a situation where they're liquid. I can trade them anytime, get out of them. I got great growth potential because they can do really well in any given year. But what don't I have? I don't possibly have safety. Okay. Again, it depends on what financial instruments they are, but you're probably getting growth, you got liquidity, but no safety. Now take a fixed index annuity. Now this is an insurance product, okay? It's fixed in the sense that it can't go down in value. So it has safety, it has growth potential because the income is tied to some index, so that's good. But the downside is with most annuities, there's a time frame in which they want you to stay with that program. So I have to give up liquidity, okay? But now why is this important for you to understand or know? Well, why it's important is because you have to understand which of the two are going to be predominantly most important to you. If it's safety is most important to you, if liquidity is most important to you, if those are the two you want, then you're going to have to make sure that your financial instruments that you're in match that. Okay? If you're somebody that wants great growth potential and don't care about the safety, but you want liquidity, then the kind of financial instruments you're going to choose are going to be much different. If you're somebody that really wants to know how you're positioned, how your portfolio is, then I encourage you to give us a call because we're going to first want to understand what two are important to you and then make sure that what you have matches that. So give us a call. Art, I love talking about that safety, growth, liquidity because, when you look at financial instruments, it really does come down to that. You're going to get predominantly two of the three. What's important is picking which two you want to have in your portfolio. So go back, 20 years, it used to be real easy with bonds because we could get all three. Bonds were paying 6-7%. They were safe. They were liquid. Somebody could structure an income of, 4 or 5% while they were making 6-7%. It was easy. Today, the yield on bonds is so low. A AAA rated corporate bond is paying maybe just a little over 1%. And then with all this volatility, very challenging to structure somebody with an income.
Larry, you're absolutely right. And it's interesting you did this segment here on the show because it's quite timely. I just had this conversation with some folks in the office here. They were from the Gaylord area, and we were sitting down talking about their retirement plan. And they're coming off of their working years, and they're used to getting that growth. They've had in that growth and accumulation mode. They weren't really concerned about liquidity, and they weren't really concerned about safety so much, but they wanted that growth. Now into their retirement years, we started to have this conversation about why do you need liquidity? Well, you might start spending some money now finally, right? Well, why do you need safety? Well, you may not want to have a big fluctuation in your portfolio, but also why do you need growth? And these are all things you have to talk about. And like Larry talked about, there's ways to mitigate the downsides of each of those, but it's really important to build those into your financial plans and think through those processes. If that's something that you would like to do or haven't done yet, give us a call. We'd love to sit down, walk through a free, no obligations visit with us for a second opinion on your portfolio so we can help you plan to retire well.
Take back control of your financial future. Learn the 3 things you can do now. The mastery of money is a skill that can be learned. Don't leave your financial future to blind chance. Be informed and make educated financial decisions. At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, helping people just like you plan to retire well. We are known for our informative and educational live events throughout northern Michigan. If you are within 5 to 10 years from a retirement or already retired, we invite you to attend our complimentary webinar on Tuesday, December 8th at 6 o'clock. You'll be able to attend from the comfort of your home, right on your computer or smart device. Learn the 3 things of how to take back control of your financial future. To register, call 888-608-5825 or visit cen-wealth.com and click on Attend an Event. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important webinar and learn the 3 things of how to take back control of your financial future. Again, call 888-608-5825 today.
Christ Hope is a ministry that works in 7 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. We're focused on AIDS-affected, orphan and vulnerable kids. And the first time I went to Africa, I remember holding a little boy named Joma. And Joma was 5 years old. He had AIDS. He had open sores in his mouth. He was skin and bones. He was lethargic. And they didn't know if he was going to make it. And I just remember understanding that Joma's mother was there also. She had AIDS. His dad had already died of AIDS. His sister had died. And this was a beautiful family that had been blown apart because of AIDS. And so Joma, thank God, has been able to get better because of drugs and ARVs. And even though we've come a long way in helping AIDS, it's still a huge issue. But children like Joma are vulnerable to being pushed off into orphanages and neglected and trafficked. And so we come in to help children like Joma be able to stay in families through the support that we do. We have about 1,700 children in our program right now. Interesting little thing, Christ Hope started out doing children's homes. But we quickly realized that the majority of children in the children's homes had families. And we moved in 2010 to a family-based preservation model. And we've seen a dynamic change and transformation in kids who are able to grow up in families versus institutional care.
Dave, I just want to thank you for Christ Hope. It's had a personal impact on my life. You attended our church, I think it was like 9-10 years ago, and you had all these little cards of these kids that we could sponsor. Out of that whole group of kids, I picked one child, and her name is Antonia Anthony Meadows. She was in the 4th grade. She just entered your program. We began writing with each other back and forth, and I understand now she's graduated. She's looking to go on to a university, and now our next step is trying to figure out how I can continue to support her in her endeavors, because I've grown to love this little girl, and so it's been probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life, because I think of that old analogy, that person that was after the ocean kind of blew all these clams onto the beach, right? Yeah. And the guy's throwing the clams back, and somebody approaches him and says, you're not making much of a difference. And he goes, well, I just made a difference to that one clam, right? That's how I feel with Antonia. I can't help every child in Africa, but I've been able to help one. And now since then, my wife has joined on and we're now supporting 2 new ones. So it's been very rewarding, and again, just want to thank you for all you do. Thank you.
And so our children now, the first children, Larry sponsors one of the children that was part of that. Antonia, she was able to live with her family, and she's graduating from high school in October, and she'll be exiting the program and going on to university. And she's a great testimony of the impact of this ministry, helping children to be not just healthy physically and academically and spiritually, but emotionally. is that they really grow because they have family. They're not orphans anymore. They have families and they live in families. Yeah, and I just really want to thank Centennial Wealth. Thank you so much for believing in us and being a partner with us and supporting us in this. This is huge and has a great impact directly to the kids in our program. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Larry Flynn. I'm a financial advisor, senior partner here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. Listen, with this coronavirus, it created unprecedented times. High unemployment, you got a lot of businesses not reopening. Whether there comes a treatment or a vaccine for this disease, we don't know. There's just a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty. But your financial well-being is still very important. And if you're in retirement or near retirement, then getting some good, sound financial advice is going to be critical. So in these unprecedented times, we're understanding that safety is a concern, and so we're offering a couple options. If you're willing to talk by phone or want to do a virtual meeting, whether that be Zoom or something like that, we're offering that ability to do that. If you're somebody that does want to meet in person, we're trying to accommodate that as well. We're saying, we're not going to have any two clients meet at once. We're sanitizing it before and after you're here, and we're keeping the proper social distancing in place while we meet. So if these are a couple options you might want to pursue, we encourage you to just give us a call on the number that's on the screen or visit our website at cen-wealth.com and just basically you can set up a meeting there. Stay safe. If you have some financial concerns and need to address those, then certainly give us a call. Hi, welcome back. Listen, in this segment, I want to talk to you about pension buyouts. Now, I know a lot of us don't have pensions. It seems like more and more people coming into our office today have little or no pension at all. But if you're fortunate enough to be that person who has a pension, you know that when you retire, you're gonna have some options. You're gonna have some things that you're gonna have to consider. One is a lot of these pensions will offer you a lump sum payout, okay, or a guaranteed income for the rest of your life, and you have to pick between the two. You're going to want to seek somebody to help you with this because there's some things that you have to consider. They'll usually change the payout options based on survivor benefits. For example, if you want it all to go to your spouse in case something happens to you, then that would be 100% survivor benefit, maybe half, and they'll change the payout accordingly. So that's a high consideration you're going to want to take a look at. You're also going to want to consider the credit qualityness of the company or government that's paying the payout. It may be a great payout and you might want to have the guaranteed income, but if you have to worry about that company going bankrupt or that government possibly going bankrupt down the road, you're going to want to maybe have the lump sum and have it now. Okay, so that's going to have to be of high consideration for you. The other thing you want to consider is liquidity. Do I have enough money set aside for emergencies? If I'm just getting a guaranteed payout from a pension and then I've got Social Security, do I have enough money to fall back on for emergencies and things that I'm going to need money for down the road? So there's a lot of considerations that you want to take into account when you're looking at that lump sum payout or that pension. So I encourage you, if that's somebody like you, just give us a call. Be glad to look at all those things for you and see if it makes sense for you.
Boy, what a wonderful segue there, Larry, talking about pensions and all the different options that people have when it comes to that. And the one thing that I want to stress to you out there, if you are faced with this decision, there's a lot of factors that are going to build into that. Obviously, Larry just went through a lot of the details in that, but also consider so much of your other assets, your other things that you rely on or may have available to you, and how that's going to play a role into your retirement plan. A pension can be a great tool or great asset to have. coupled with maybe your Social Security, other retirement savings, you know, the old three-legged stool there that you've talked about, a lot of these things. And when you're making that decision on that pension option, there's a lot of pieces so you can balance out that stool and maybe have some greater advantages or disadvantages to you.
Yeah, nothing's better, Art, right? When somebody's got a pension, they also got Social Security, and then they've got sufficient amount in savings. Boy, that's real easy to kind of build an income plan, right? Not so easy, though, when they don't have a pension. A lot of times they're relying solely on Social Security to be the guaranteed payout, and now we got to take that lump sum amount and turn that into a predictable and sustainable income that you can count on, and that becomes a challenge. Why they need an advisor, right? I had a case one time where I was looked at the pension payout percentage, and it was a really good payout percentage. And I said, you know what? Honestly, you know, the market's not going to promise anything more than that. Maybe you should, you know, consider taking that. But the credit qualityness of the company they were working for, they didn't trust, and they said, you know what? I just know some things. I don't think I'm going to be able to trust this company is going to be there the rest of my life. So I think I'll just take that lump sum. That was an interesting situation. And I think we're seeing more of that, Art, right? I mean, who would ever thought municipalities would be filing bankruptcy? All the more so today. So if that's somebody like you out there and maybe you have a pension, maybe not, and you need to structure an income plan, by all means, give us a call. Take back control of your financial future. Learn the 3 things you can do now. The mastery of money is a skill that can be learned. Don't leave your financial future to blind chance. Be informed and make educated financial decisions. At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, helping people just like you plan to retire well. We are known for our informative and educational live events throughout northern Michigan. If you are within 5 to 10 years from retirement or already retired, we invite you to attend our complimentary webinar on Tuesday, December 8th at 6 o'clock. You'll be able to attend from the comfort of your home, right on your computer or smart device. Learn the 3 things of how to take back control of your financial future. To register, call 888-608-5825 or visit cen-wealth.com and click on Attend an Event. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important webinar and learn the 3 things of how to take back control of your financial future. Again, call 888-608-5825 today.
My name is David Mikowski. I'm chairman of Veterans in Crisis. This is our tournament. This is our 3rd annual tournament. I'm a former combat Marine, and I wanted to pay it forward.
Colonel Art Forster, U.S. Air Force retired. What a pleasure it is to be out here in Liquidity today to play for such a worthy cause, Veterans in Crisis.
It's an honor to be here as a Marine Corps veteran. I served from 1996 to 2001 as a Marine Embassy Guard. Veterans in Crisis has done so much for the local community here, and we're proud to be a part of it.
I'm here with my Honor Bank team, golfing for Veterans for Crisis organization. I'm a fellow veteran myself, 6 years Army, 5 years Navy. So anything we can do to help out the veterans, we know they're in need and they did a great service for this country.
I'm honored to be one of the founding board members of Veterans in Crisis that is putting on this event. Veterans in Crisis, we are literally impacting vets at the grassroots, one by one, right here in northern Michigan. Thank you to Centennial for sponsoring this whole and being a proud sponsor of Veterans in Crisis. We appreciate your commitment to helping veterans here in northern Michigan.
My dad was in the Army, injured on Normandy Beach, and he went through 5 campaigns. I made it back home. My brother went to NAM. It goes without saying to me that without these guys, we wouldn't be here playing golf, okay? We wouldn't be living the life we live.
I'm one of the founding members of Veterans in Crisis. It is an entirely volunteer organization, but I wanted to get involved in something worthwhile, and I can't think of anything more worthwhile than serving our veterans.
I'm Bob Baldwin. I'm from Lake Leelanau, Michigan. I served in the U.S. Army from 67 to 69, did a tour of duty in Vietnam, 1968, 1969 with the 9th Infantry Division. I want to thank the organization that put this outing together. I know it's the 3rd year, and congratulations to well-deserved turnout, and hope all the proceeds will help some of our fellow veterans.
You know, I myself am a veteran. I served in the Army National Guard in the early 80s, but I have a great deal of respect for those that were in the service and actually had to fight. I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to, you know, get sent off. I put my time in, but a huge amount of respect for those that have, and a huge amount of respect for those that didn't come home.
There's a tsunami on the horizon with veterans that are in crisis, and it starts with veterans who have been now involved in a 20-year war, and preceding that we had a 17-year war with Vietnam. So now we're up on the precipice of a lot of those veterans that are retired coming home, wanting to settle in, and they have issues. They have either PTSD or they're Agent Orange or some other kind of malady.
I heard a statistic not long ago that said that there was more veterans committing suicide from coming from Afghanistan than those that actually fought and died in Afghanistan. That's sad. To me, that just breaks my heart. You know, we need to be taking care of our veterans. You know, we love our country. These are men that are putting their lives on the line for our country. When they come home, they deserve our support.
98% of the proceeds that'll go directly to a veteran.
A lot of the veterans have issues getting quick service from a wonderful organization, a VA, but they're not the fastest response team. We have responded as quickly as 24 hours to help a veteran with a hot water heater or dental work or legal work even.
We heard about Veterans in Crisis that was serving local veterans, and we said, you know what, this is right in our own backyard. Let's sponsor them this year. So we're very proud to do that. Today, this is a golf event. It's called a scramble, so you know everybody's out, you know, playing golf and hopefully enjoying themselves. And the beauty here is just amazing, and they got a great day to boot.
I want to say thank you to everybody that's played in this tournament today, the giving of their time, our sponsors, Lock and Heath, who we are going to have a long-term contract with, and certainly I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Centennial Wealth. They're our title sponsor, and we've got a multi-year agreement with them, and I'm just so blessed to have the opportunity to live in such a community like this with so many giving individuals and people who want to give back. It's a very humbling thing.
Hi, in this segment, I want to talk to you about the dangers of day trading. Now, you know, the reason I want to talk about this is, you know, with the pandemic, you know, we had that stimulus money a lot of people got, and all of a sudden there was just a sharp spike in day trading. You know, you've got these apps like Robinhood that are very easy to use. There's no fees for trading, and especially a lot of millennials were finding it, you know, we're now gambling or trading stocks, and something they had never done before. So I just wanted to talk about this because, you know, there's been a sharp rise on day trading, and there's some dangers or some risks associated with it that I think is important for people to understand. First of all, you know, you got to understand that when you're day trading, all your trades are short term. You know, you're buying and selling most typically within a year. Because those trades are happening within a year, you know, your gains over your losses are going to be subject to ordinary income tax rates. You don't get the favorable long-term capital gain rates, you know, because again, they're less than a year. The other thing you got to keep in mind when you're day trading is you got to keep track of all those trades. At the end of the year, when you file your tax return, you've got to show the buys and sells, and if you've been doing a lot of trades all year long, that could be a lot of record keeping. I'm going to put a study up on the screen for you because it shows that only 3% of the people that do day trading actually are making money, and less than 1% are even making more than minimum wage. So, you know, you hear a lot of people when they're trading, they're always going to tell you about the stocks that do really well, right? But they don't tell you about their losers. You got to understand, when you're working with mutual funds or you're working with third-party managers, they're managing billions of dollars. They have millions they can spend on research that's not available to us when we're just trading stocks on a daily basis. We don't typically have enough information behind a stock to understand, you know, where it's going. We're speculating, right? Now, we might speculate right, and that's a good thing, but we might speculate wrong, and that's a bad thing, right? We're going to lose. Find that when people have a period of time when they're, you know, the market is cooperating with them and they're doing day trading, it can kind of get addicting, because if they keep having some winners, they kind of, it's kind of like gambling. You know, they don't know when to stop until there's a time when the market doesn't cooperate. So, you know, I hope you found this valuable. You know, again, you know, there's been a sharp spike. That company Robinhood that out there, you know, that millennials are using, they went from 10 million users at the end of '99, and through the pandemic, now 13 million. Put that in perspective, Schwab, 12.7 million. So understanding the dangers, very important. If that's something, if that's you out there and you maybe want to see how you can have some professional management, then certainly give us a call.
Boy, Larry, what an interesting segment you did there with some interesting facts, and pretty timely. And we hear more about this lately with day trading, folks staying at home more so they have that. I mean, it's something that's gone on probably forever, but it seems like it's talking about more. The statistic you read off, I'm not surprised by it, but it is catchy, is, you know, only 3% of the people actually make money out there. You know, how often have you been at an event or talking to a friend or family member, and they're kind of bragging about, hey, I had this hot stock, I made this amount of money, but you never hear them talk about maybe some they didn't win on. Doesn't that kind of sound like a gambler? You know, they like to brag about what they won, but maybe not how much they spent to get there. So I'm not saying people can't make money doing it, obviously, but it's interesting. There's so much time spent talking about those winners and how hard that can be. I mean, think of the thousands and thousands of different things you can invest in out there, and the knowledge it takes to identify that, not only on the specific stock or equity that you may be picking, but also those systematic things that are all surrounding that, and the economy and the environment that may come into, and kind of how things are so much connected now when you're coming into that. So talking about all those various options and what it is, and Larry, I think this is great that you brought this up, because, you know, whether you're sitting out there, this is where those individual trades, maybe it's okay to do with a little bit of your money, but boy, don't go in and wreck your whole retirement plan trying to chase those few winners out there.
Yeah, Art, I like that you said that. People always like to talk about their winners, never their losers. But, you know, if you're going to go out there and you're going to gamble on stocks when you don't have a lot of information, you know, one thing I would highly recommend is use trailing stop losses. You know, set an amount by which you're willing to lose, and then, you know, you can ride that stock up. Let's say you put a 25% stop loss or a trailing stop loss on it. Let's say it goes up 100% and then drops 25%. You're still up 75%, right? Let's say it doesn't go up at all. Well, then you only lose 25%, and maybe you were okay with that. But, you know, what always concerns me is, you know, we came into the pandemic. It brought forth a lot of day traders. A lot of people were taking their stimulus money, and now they're going on Robinhood, and they're trading stocks, and the market keeps going up. And so they start thinking they're pretty smart. They start getting kind of a little bit of addicted to it, and they start getting a little bit more too risky with their portfolio. And the concern there is, as soon as you do get a down market, and you will eventually, right, then they see big losses and it changes them forever. So I can't say it enough, folks. We always encourage you to use managers. These are people that have billions of dollars, and they can spend millions on research because they're managing billions. So that's where you want to be. That's where the discipline is in investing. If we can be of any help with that, then certainly give us a call. Thank you.